wage definition, will commission include incentives, ESOP, etc.? I think this depends upon how you decide, because whether commission is to be paid or not, it is for the management to decide. Then what is commission? Again, it is for the management to decide, right? It is possible. I don't say no, but when we say commission, there are cases where people will be engaged solely on the commission basis. They will not be paid any salary at all, monthly salary at all, right? They will work for the company, but they will be paid just a commission. But that may not be the case with incentive. When we say incentive, it is in addition to monthly salary, right? Because I'm not very sure that person would have put maybe the extra achievement of some extra achievement that person would have made, in which case that person would get some incentive which is in addition to monthly salary. But for a person who is getting commission, it is possible in addition to monthly salary commission can be paid, but even without salary persons can be engaged solely on commission basis. That is also possible, but that may not be possible in case of incentive, right? And whether incentive is or to be treated as commission, I think that depends upon your policy, the respective company's policy, and the purpose of those payments. And what is the definition of wages, and does it differ for PF, ESI, maternity, and gratuity? See, fortunately, whatever you have mentioned, Provident Fund, employee state insurance, maternity, gratuity, all fall under currently the Code on Social Security, right? I think the definition is common, uniform. So definition for the term wage for the purpose of all the four areas which we have mentioned, I think it is common. So again, the crux is the wage cannot go below 50% of the monthly gross salary, at least for these purposes. If there is a ceiling, right, mentioned for PF or ESA or maternity or gratuity, if employer can avail that, that's a different issue, right? But what is the salary? It cannot go below 50% of the monthly gross. That is the idea. Again, so it is uniform. Now the definition for the term wage, not only for these four areas, even for all the four codes, it is going to be the same. Now we move on to the fourth code on dispute, industrial relations code. So does that mean whoever drawing more than 18,000 per month as gross salary will not be considered as workers? No, it is not so. See, the salary ceiling of 18,000 is available only for supervisors. If a person is a worker, right, irrespective of the salary, whether it is 8,000 or 18,000 or 80,000, that person will remain as a worker. Similarly, if a person is a manager drawing, assume 10,000 or 20,000 or 1 lakh, he will just remain as manager, right? The salary ceiling will not be applicable for managers, for persons who are doing administrative jobs, for workers. No, the salary ceiling is only for the supervisors. The persons who are doing the supervisory work, if they are drawing less than 18,000 per month, then they will fall into the worker category. If they are drawing more than 18,000, then they will become maybe supervisors, so they will not be treated as workers, right? That is how it is to be seen. So 18,000, it is that salary ceiling is not applicable to any other class of persons except to supervisors, right? So it is the nature of work which will decide, right? If the person, if he is doing clerical job, if he is doing some unskilled work, a skilled work, or some technical job, he will continue to be a worker irrespective of the quantum of salary that person is drawing, right? Similarly, managers, if he is doing a managerial job, if he is exercising a managerial work, right, then irrespective of the salary, even it could be 10,000 for a manager, he will be treated as manager only, because the nature of job will decide whether this person is a worker or a manager. Only in respect of a supervisor, the salary ceiling comes into play. If a supervisor, when a person exercises supervisory powers, if he is drawing a salary less than 18,000 per month, then he will be considered as a worker. If he is drawing a salary which is more than 18,000, then he will be treated as supervisors. He will not be treated as worker. So maybe we can say managers. They will be treated as managers. So that is the difference. So it is not 18,000 ceiling will not be applicable to all classes of workers or employees. Please note that. Fixed term contract employee is introduced in industrial employment standing orders, whereas few state amended the same. With the new code, can we presume that we can engage fixed term employees without other state government amendments? See, I think the model standing orders as per the code will be issued only by the central government. right? So once the code comes into effect, I think if the model standing orders prescribed under the central rules, if it allows, yes, other states can also follow that. That is how it is. I don't think the states would now come up with separate model standing orders once the code gets implemented. And should standing orders be redrafted? No, it is not required. If you have already certified standing orders applicable to your company, that will continue to be applicable to you as a law, right? But if some clauses in the certified standing orders, if it is inconsistent with the provisions of the code, those clauses will no more be applicable. That will automatically become invalid. Otherwise, it is not required that you have to go for certification once again. It is not required. Your already certified set of standing orders will continue to govern you. That will continue to apply, right? If there are any classes which is inconsistent, right, which is repugnant to the provisions of the code, then I think to that extent it will be invalid. That's it.